You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. Welcome to episode number 56, where today we're going to talk about waiting to be saved. And I don't mean saved as in the eternal afterlife and waiting to be saved in a religious concept and you're going to heaven or something like that. Although you can absolutely use my words and use that analogy. But I'm mostly talking about giving your power away to someone or something or some event or some circumstance, to that thing, instead of going deep within and knowing that you have the power from the inside out to change whatever it is you want to change. And you do not need to be anointed. You do not need to be saved. You do not need a magic wand from a fairy godmother or someone to swoop in a white horse like Prince Charming and cart you away. You have the power right here and right now to literally change every single aspect of your life if you decide to do so. So let's kind of unpack that a little, because depending on the mood you're in, these words might kind of piss you off or they might actually really empower you. And it depends on where you're at. So if you're in a funky mood, just listen with kind of an open mind and an open heart and think about it. Think about where in your life, where is it that you're wanting to make a change and you're waiting for something to happen first before you actually decide, you know what, I'm just going to do it myself. And I don't mean deciding to do it yourself is this like mom martyr syndrome of no one will ever wipe the microwave out correctly, so I might as well do it myself. So that's kind of a defeatist martyrdom feeling, but I'm talking about great, big, huge changes in your physical life, changes in your financial life. If you look in the mirror every day and you're not happy, and if you look at your bank accounts and you're not happy, you do have the power to do something about it. So I coach a lot of women and many of them are moms and many of them feel as if they are constantly holding their breath and waiting for something to happen instead of actually deciding on their own to make the thing happen. And it's not a very comfortable feeling to feel as if you are literally out of control and that you're in some sort of hole or ditch and you don't have any sort of capability to do something with it. So some of the women that I work with, they come to me and they're in their 40s or 50s and they have this kind of midlife slump and this sort of feeling like this is as good as it gets. And I'm destined to be 40 to 50 to 60 pounds overweight because I'm in the throes of perimenopause or menopause. And this is how my posture is always going to be. And I'm always going to have joint pain and have too many things in my house. And it's always going to be this way because I'm taking care of my mother-in-law and my sick aunt. And now I have all their furniture in my house because they're in assisted living. And it's this a bit, I don't like to use the term victim mindset because it's definitely overused. But if you feel heavy and worn down and weighed down and feel as if it doesn't matter what you do, you're stuck in the same place and you would rather just kind of give up and become one with the couch and Ben and Jerry's and Netflix, then that is kind of a victim mindset. And you can decide in a microsecond to change that and sort of shake yourself off and decide, you know what, screw it. I am not going to wait for someone to give me a raise. I'm not going to wait for someone to give me the absolute perfect eating plan and tell me that this is what's going to work for my particular ailment and this is what's going to work. I'm going to decide on my own that I'm big and I'm a full-fledged grown-up. I'm going to put on my big girl pants and I'm going to figure this out myself. And if the plan that I think and feel makes sense and I understand it, I am just going to stay on that path. I am going to decide to go for it once and for all. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for anyone anywhere to give me a gold star and say, this is it. You're absolutely doing it. You can do this. No, that sort of feeling does have to come from within. And I was thinking about it a lot because I do work in an elementary school and it's fascinating to watch. And we were sort of indoctrinated into this way of feeling like the answers are all going to come from outside of us instead of from within us. And that's what I coach on. And that is what I believe. And that is what I teach, is that when you really are a full-fledged grown-up, the knowledge is in there. You already know enough. You already know intuitively, deep down inside, what eating plan works best for your body. You already know if you're overspending, that the reason you're in debt is because you have an addiction to super cute brown leather boots. You already know this. You have the answers. And maybe you're just kind of shoving it aside or swatting these bubbled up thoughts away like they're a pesky gnat. But you do know. And that's all I'm asking for you to do, is to just sort of stop and slow down and pay attention. So when it comes from your health, what are you supposed to be doing right now? Are you doing it? Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating healthy food for your body? Are you drinking too much? You know the answers are already there. And if you slow down, I really like meditating. I really like going on long, peaceful walks. I really like yoga. The thoughts that keep coming up are the ones to pay attention to. A lot of times people think that they lost a really good idea because they didn't write it down right away. If you have an idea that is the right next step for you, it's not going to go away. It's going to come up. You're going to think about it at 3 a.m. It will come back. You do not need to write it down. It will come back. You know what the next step is to take. And if you're not doing it, then that is something you need to work on. You need to decide why. If you know you're supposed to eat a certain way and you're not doing it, even though when you're in a good mood and you make a plan, it feels good. And then all of a sudden, 4 o'clock comes and you're like, you know what, screw it. I don't want to do this. Instead, I want to do this, this, and this and find my way at the end of a bag of Cheetos. You know. So why? Why aren't you doing the right thing? That's the work. That's what needs to happen. That's what you need to reach out for, get some help about. Call me, email me. I will help you. Figure it out. But go within. So back to the elementary school and definitely high school and college is we learn things because we're going to get tested on it. And we need to know a certain amount of things in order to do okay on the test, in order to pass the class, in order to get the degree, in order to get the job. Check, 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 check. But at some point, nobody is going to tell you this is on the test. And it literally, truly is up to you. So if you're looking around your house, you know that if you can't keep it clean, it's because there's too much stuff in it. So yes, you can hire cleaners or you can hire organizers to tell you what to do or to swoop in and do it for you. But if you are not consistently doing the work, your house will just get cluttered all over again. On the stephanioday.com website, there's a checklist for the 7 daily chores. There's an outline on how to prom, purge, remove, organize, maintain. It's in the Clean Less, Play More book. It's in Totally Together Journal. It's in the first few episodes of this podcast series. Yet people write to me and reach out to me on social media. And they're like, there's just too much stuff in the house and I feel overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. So take a deep breath. You do know. First of all, stop. Stop bringing more stuff into your house. If you don't have space for the things already in your house, stop bringing more in. Like that really does seem like a no-brainer. So if you can't decide on your own to take the next step, then talk to yourself the way you would talk to a trusted friend or to a little kid and give advice, because my goodness gracious, we love to give unsolicited advice to others. Yet for some reason, we're not taking our own advice, even though we know it's good advice. So if that's you, if a friend was coming to you and say, hey, I'm drowning in credit card debt. I can't make my car payments. I'm really worried that I'm not saving enough for retirement. What would you do? Chances are you would give out so many golden nuggets of wisdom to this friend. So love yourself. Give yourself that same advice. Don't wait for a lottery win that's probably not ever going to happen. Don't hope and pray that someone somewhere is going to swoop in and give you an inheritance. This is it. You are the grown-up in the room. You are in charge. If you are in the mood for yet even another analogy, think of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz and how she had the power all within, and she kept going to different people and trying to find the answer from the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Tin Man. And yet she knew all along what she had to do. And that's all you need to do. Follow your own yellow brick road, brick by brick, step by step. If you are feeling overwhelmed and overworked and you've got too much going on in your brain and you do need help mapping this out, that's what I do. Reach out to me. Join Simple Shortcuts to Peace, stephanioday.com/peace. It's laid out, all 6 modules, step by step, worksheet by worksheet. Follow it. And then once you have that plan in place, you can tweak and modify for it to best fit your own life. When I was writing recipes all the time, it was so fun for me to get these emails and like, I tried your, I don't know, let's just make something up. I tried your brown sugar chicken, but instead of using Mountain Dew, I used, I don't know, let's just make this up, sugar-free Powerade. And instead of using brown sugar, I used brown sugar Splenda. And instead of using soy sauce, I used amino acids. And it didn't taste good. What did I do wrong? And it's just fun. It's just fun and it's comical because if you took a step out and then you reread that email you just wrote to me, you did not follow the recipe. You made it up. You took a little bit from here and a little bit from there and a little bit from here and a little bit from there. And then you second guessed yourself 127 times and then wondered why it didn't turn out. So, like a recipe, follow it. Follow the prescription. Follow the advice step by step. First, get some data and then you tweak and modify and change to fit it into your own life, your own dietary needs, your own circumstances. But you do have to have a plan in place. So there's 5 steps of slow living. We've talked about it before. I'm going to talk about it again. Very first thing, declutter. If what you're doing right now isn't working, something isn't fitting into your box, and you already know deep down inside what it is, get rid of it. For a lot of the clients right now, they're talking to me and they're telling me that their sleep is disrupted and they're just not feeling good. And so they're not waking up early in the morning and they're not setting themselves up. And so then we game plan. Okay, so what's going on between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.? What are you doing? Well, unfortunately for a lot of them, they're realizing that they're rewarding themselves for a hard day's work with a few glasses of wine, which I love. I don't want to tell you that the blanket thing is to get rid of the wine. But if that's what the data keeps pointing out, that it may make you feel good for 20 to 30 minutes, but then it disrupts your sleep and it creates levels of anxiety in your body and you're not able to get the rest that you need, which means you're not able to get up to meditate, to walk, to journal, to do yoga, to set yourself up, pay yourself first, then yes, all signs, all data points to stopping the glass of wine. And again, if you're not doing that, if you're not decluttering the thing that you know that's shining in this big, bright, glaring, pulsing light, then that's the work. That's something you need to figure out why you can't get rid of the thing you know you need to declutter. Step 2, you got to know where you're going. You have to. If you do not have a plan in place, then get one, borrow one, join Simple Shortcuts to Peace. It is all in there, all of the quadrants. You can't live a calm, healthy, peaceful, tranquil life if you know your finances are a wreck, if you know your relationships aren't the way they should be, if there's someone who isn't fitting into your long-term life goals and you need to deal with them on a daily basis, that needs to get fixed. Step 3, no matter what, you have something to smile at, something to hug, something to be grateful for. As hard as it is when the world sometimes feels like it's collapsing around you, try and find the silver lining. Try and find something to focus on that makes you feel good. A sunrise, a sunset, a hot cup of coffee, a cozy pillow at night. Step 4, teeny tiny baby steps. A no-brainer baby step. If you know where you're going, if you have the path, you're just following it, checking off the boxes, going through the motions. That's what step 4 is all about. And then step 5, which is what we were talking about before. Once you've got the recipe and you followed the recipe for a while, tweak, modify, make it work for you. And that's what it's all about. Okay, so back to the topic. Being saved, waiting to be saved. This is it. If my words made sense to you, this is your wake-up call. All right. Consider yourself loved and hugged. I think you are absolutely wonderful. You take care. and have a great day. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieodea.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.